welcome to back. Let's try again. Welcome to Sports Back Talk with Boley and Ringer, and here it is. The 12th of September. We got nearly an entire NFL week under our belt. What did we learn yesterday?
That fantasy football really is not that much fun.
Yeah, really? It sucks to lose, is that or you're losing?
You know, it's just frustrating. You know, I thought I had my win already, and then last night I had Michael Floyd in the Arizona defense, and then not much out of him, and now I got to go through another night. I got a couple more players going tonight. I think I got to win, but I'm in 3 different leagues, and right now, if Antonio Brown gets me 90 yards tonight, I'm going to win in all 3 of my leagues.
Well, that's just about guaranteed, isn't it? Seriously, isn't it just about guaranteed that he's going to get 90 yards?
No, it's not. It's not guaranteed. And I guess the more I think about it, if I come back and watch his show by accident, it just tells you how my life has really taken a downturn. I'm in 3 fantasy football leagues. Who does that?
Well, you know, yeah, somebody who needs a little extra something. I don't know.
I'm happily married. It's not like I'm bored. And
I was going to say, you got a pontoon boat and everything else. So, yeah. I mean, you got everything.
Yeah. Well, it's all about living a fantasy. You know, Woody does it every day when he goes fishing.
There you go. As we are here at Looney's Brew, back in our home spot, our natural spot to do the show at. And so, what about the Vikings? How much of it did you watch? Because I watched about half.
Yeah, good question. I did watch quite a bit of it. I spent the last 6 days on the lake, Rainy Lake, and then a small lake south of here near Orr called Elbow Lake. So I was fishing 6 straight days. I got home yesterday. I was exhausted.
Good thing I forgot part of the equipment so we could tape the show on Monday.
Exactly, and I watched about 3/4 of the game. I didn't flip around. I actually watched a few commercials yesterday and found out why I don't watch them. But anyways, I thought the Vikings defense played well. I thought I thought he played well. You know, I don't care what anybody says out there. I thought he played a good game, and did he put out big stats? No. Did he throw any touchdown passes? No. But he didn't turn the ball over. He never got sacked. He played the game the right way, and the offensive line. And I saw a lot of comments about Adrian Peterson, not so much about him, about maybe playing exhibition games. Your thoughts on that?
I agree. I think the last time I think that he's played an exhibition game was 2011, and I think it usually takes him at least 2 games to get into that, whatever. I would like to see him at least play 3-4 series in the preseason just to kind of take the rust off a little bit where it's live, but I don't suspect that that's going to change. I don't see it changing anytime soon. So, yeah, I don't think he looked up to speed. I saw the second and fourth quarters, basically. Asiata came out in the fourth quarter and did some spin moves and was getting some yardage, and I'm like, was the offensive line just wearing down the defensive line finally? Or because at that point in the game, the Titans knew that we were going to run the ball. So why was Adrian not getting the yards? Why were other guys getting yards? I just think that's part of it. I think that those other guys, you got to get your body into shape, and I think Adrian, hopefully in a couple weeks, better be pretty soon because the Packers are coming to town on Sunday night. Hopefully he can do a little bit better than he did yesterday. Am I concerned? Yes. Am I gonna go jump like people were with the field goal kicker? Is he still our field goal kicker? I didn't see anything.
Still our field goal kicker. He's actually did well. 4 field goals, and he made a couple one of the 2 extra points. So I thought for sure after he missed those 2 field goals he was going to be gone, but he made up for it in the second half, as did the Vikings defense, and the Vikings defense is the reason the Vikings are 1-0.
Well, I think it's the reason why the Vikings are going to have a chance to be very competitive this season. The defense, I thought I watched a little bit early in the game. I thought they were giving up too many big plays, but they kind of did take that break, bend but don't break philosophy, it looked like. I mean, keep everything in front of you, that type of thing. So I thought that was interesting. I thought DeMarco Murray, on his diving touchdown looked pretty good for Tennessee. Although I think he may have a concussion after he made the second touchdown. He looked a little woozy, but
Well, as they say, too, the adjustments were made at halftime. Again, they don't get a lot of time at halftime to talk, but there's so much going on. You got coaches coming from all different directions helping out, and they were throwing a lot at the Vikings offensively. They were kind of running guys over here and running guys over there and trying to confuse them. And
that's game one.
Yeah,
that is game one.
Overdid it. But anyway, 1-0.
What else did you see in the NFL yesterday? A lot of tight games. The Raiders and oh my, I just snapped up. New Orleans 35-34. The Raiders go for two in the last minute. New England and Arizona last night. Also the Giants and Dallas. Was a tight ball game, so all kind of an exciting weekend. Saturday football and
Cincinnati, whoever they played. There's like 4 one-point games that hasn't happened like in 20 years, and I thought overall the excitement in the league was pretty good yesterday. Lots of fun games. And I thought it was great. Oakland went for the 2-point conversion to win that game, and Jack Del Rio kind of threw it at ESPN for kind of blasting a little bit, I guess. And, that's typical Jack.
I did not see that.
What did I tell you about Belichick, though? What have I said to you for, I don't know,
ever since ever?
Yeah, I mean, the guy can coach. I mean, you don't go into Arizona. Not many teams go into Arizona against that defense and beat Arizona on their home turf, and they went right in there. And
I watched probably the first quarter, and then I had to get some stuff done. But they were absolutely dominating that football game from the offensive side. Tom Brady or not Tom Brady, they were doing what they needed to do, and and I was surprised. I walked in the door when I got done, and the final score had just popped up. It was 23-21. I had not seen anything else after that, so it must have been an exciting finish as well. A missed field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah, it was. There was just a lot of pressure. I mean, they were actually in really good field position, and then Arizona pushed them back a little bit, but then they got back in there. And but anyways, the thing with Belichick is he had like 4 backup offensive linemen. Ninkovich wasn't playing. Gronkowski, Brady, they're all out. I mean, the whole team's in transition, and Belichick just gets out there with his gray sweater and tells the coaches and the players, here's what we got to do to win this game, and they go out and win them. And best coach in any sport, in my opinion.
I agree. Where do you want to go to? We'll talk a little college. You want to talk the Gophers taking down a one AA school very convincingly on Saturday, 58-28 over Indiana State. They were able to overcome all their guys who've been kicked out of the game. The guys the targeting from the weekend before, and it was good to see them actually. Leidner actually. I know it was a lesser team, and I don't want to take anything away from Indiana State or any of the game, but Leidner actually looked like he was throwing the football to somebody, and he had a purpose to where he was throwing it. I don't know what the difference was, if it was because it's not the Big Ten or a big-time opponent that he relaxed and played a little bit. But, I thought that's the best I've seen Leidner throw the ball his entire career, so that's encouraging going forward. They do have a week off coming up here as they had to have the week off and then play Colorado State. And then, of course, they got 9 Big Ten games this year versus the 8 that they had in the past. Mm-hmm. So that gets started on October 1st against Penn State. And
I agree with you. I thought played well. That was a good game for them. As we all know, quarterbacks have to play with a lot of confidence, and without it, they're not going to play well. So that was a good game for Leidner to have, and it should help them throughout the Big Ten schedule coming up. And I might be going to that Colorado State game.
Nice.
What do you think of that?
I think that would be great. Is that a home game or is that in Colorado? That would make a big difference on how good it is.
Well, it'd be a home game because
I thought maybe you're heading to Colorado. I'd be like, yeah.
Although that's where my son-in-law went to school, so maybe he doesn't would have a connection for who doesn't want to go there. But it should be fun. College football's well into its season now, and of course the same old names are back up on top. We got Florida State, Alabama, Ohio State, and Michigan rounding out the top 4. Any surprises there?
Clemson, who did? Yeah, no big surprises
there.
Did
they beat Clemson?
Clemson probably should have gotten beat. They only won 30-24 over Troy, so they dropped from 2-5 over the weekend. And Georgia Georgia was a 55-point favorite. I saw on Saturday night when I was watching everything that was done. They beat Nicholls State by 2 points, 26-24. They were a 55-point favorite.
Okay, so they didn't cover.
Yeah, they didn't get close to covering the thing. So I think if you were betting on Nicholls State, you were in a good spot. But of course, the Bison played on Saturday, and another overtime game. They get back-to-back overtime games to start their season. They continue to pull games out of their wherever. As I tell my brother, because he graduated from there, I tell my daughter because she graduated from there. Anyway, they got into a shootout, and that's not normally North Dakota State style. They usually have a defense that can that hold teams down a little bit better than that, but you win 50-44 in overtime. And there were all kinds of overtime games on Saturday. I know you were busy, but if you did happen to sit down and have the clicker in your hand, you could make your way around and find a whole bunch of overtime games. South Dakota won in double overtime. That was on Midco, and then the late games got a little crazy as well. So it was a good first Saturday for me. I didn't get to watch the first Saturday, the opening weekend, but I got to watch this Saturday, and I enjoyed it very much. And
well, getting back to NDSU, my brother-in-law Terry Heinrichs, who lives out in there in the middle of the cornfields, well, not cornfields, middle of the hay pastures of North Dakota. I guess I got to be careful there, but oil fields, would that be better?
Okay.
But anyways, he went to the game and sent me pictures, and he gets up every Saturday morning, sends me his traditional picture of the bison, and there's
the real bison.
The real bison. He's pretty excited about that team. But that's what they got over in North Dakota.
Yeah, and they got their hands full coming up this week. They get to take a little jaunt down to Iowa to take on the Hawkeyes in Iowa. So this is where we see if they really are made of something. That they always seem to take on some Division I, big time Division I school. And Iowa, we'll see. They took down Iowa State 42-3, which is in a rivalry game a pretty good spanking. And so we'll see if Iowa's got. Well, I'm interested to see how many stands they're going to have in the stands because Kinnick Stadium is fairly big at Iowa, and I wonder how many old buckles the alumni, because you know how well they travel, and I know because my daughter graduated from North Dakota, I've been getting emails since I think like April about getting to Iowa and supporting the team in Iowa, and how are you going to get there, and are you going to be a part of the pep rally, and are you getting tickets and all the other stuff. So North Dakota State will travel well. It'll be interesting to see what happens this Saturday.
Well, I look at it this way, Ringer. I mean, she 4 years there.
She spent 4.5 years there.
In my opinion, is all parents of kids that went there should get free tickets from the college.
Hey, I like that idea.
Seriously, yeah. It's not like you pay a couple $100 a year. You pay some good money, so they should take care of the parents.
Shane, what do you think of that?
Kids and
absolutely, Shane Grewat agrees with that. We can definitely have
send a parent to a college game day or something. Just my thoughts. Where are we going next?
Where do we want to go next? What do you think?
Well,
you're holding on to that newspaper pretty
I got some stuff to talk about. I got a great fishing story. You want to hear it?
I'd love to hear a fishing story.
Okay. That's not real long. It's just something that's never happened to me in my life.
You actually caught a fish?
No, we did really well. My buddies and I went down the Rat Root River the first day. That was Thursday, I believe. Yeah, Thursday. We went on Scouting Wednesdays, they call it. Scouting, kind of checking out some of the reefs, if there's any fish on there. And, we got up Thursday. It was pretty windy. So I looked at that, and I talked to a couple people, and they said, yeah, head down there. The crappie bite's not really on. You might catch a few strays here and there. And really good fishermen like Woody and them, they'll go down there and catch them regardless. But guys like me, not so much. We went down there, and we caught a couple walleyes in our boat, and they got one in the other. But anyways, I'm out on a reef out on east of Greeny Island, otherwise known as Little Steamboat, otherwise known as, it has like 20 names. So I'm straight east of that, and then straight south of the main Olson Reef marker, which is the big red one over the north side.
I actually think I know where you're talking about. That's
so we got on that reef, and we were just popping them. That's good fish.
That's a good fishing
popping them. And we were putting quite a few in the live well, a.k.a. cooler, because my pontoon doesn't have a live well. So anyways, we're putting quite a few, a lot of small ones. I mean, we're catching a lot of 10s, 11s, and 12s, and our limit would be 12 and a half or bigger, and they got put in the cooler. So we're sitting there fishing, having a good time, and catching some nice fish, and no big ones. And one time during the day, one of my buddies, Timmy, said, I got one, boy, I got one. So I got the net, and I go to get his, and the guy next to him, I got one too. All 5 people in our pontoon boat, including me, who I didn't know it at the time, had fish on. Wow. So I'm sitting there netting this, and I run it over. I said, that's small, I'll go over here. And so then I went over to my pole. I said, well, I might as well check to see if we got a 5-banger. And I went over to my pole, and it's bent over, and I reeled in a nice 13.5-inch walleye. And so we had a 5-banger out of my pontoon boat, and that's never happened to me in my life.
That is popping.
One of the main reasons it doesn't happen is I don't have 5 people fishing out of my boat very often. But, Woody, has that ever happened to you? Well, probably yes. Even if it didn't, you're going to tell me it did.
I can't get 5 people together.
You can't find 4 friends? But that was quite a day, and Rainy Lake, I know it's tough to get out there and find keepers, but once in a while you get on a reef and do really well. We went back the next day, and we did almost as well. We didn't stay there as long, but I'm not one to hold that in. I told a bunch of people, and hopefully they're out there catching.
I was just going to say, a good fisherman usually won't even stay even relatively close, but you probably put them on the reef where you wouldn't even just...
Well, I look at it this way, Rick. Years ago, some other people went out there and got all these spots and found all. I mean, I'm just a beneficiary of somebody else telling me that Olson Reef has 1 million humps on it. Get out there. I mean, just because there's a boat on 3 of them, there's 2 other ones over the right here you can get on. That thing is loaded with humps, and we happen to get on the right one, and we had a fun day.
That sounds like a great day, actually. Better than working, right? Or something like that?
It was a Saturday.
Oh, wow. They were all like multiple Saturdays in a row.
You know, sometimes though you get those 612s in your boat, that turns into work. Okay. Everything's a bite, and everything that's on your line's a fish. You know, regardless if their drag isn't set right or what have you. But now they're a good group of guys. We've been doing this for about 20 years now, and they come up here and spend a lot of money. Were here in Woody's Brew for about 2.5-hour stint the other day, drinking Diet Coke and stuff. Yeah. So we were at the lodges and the resorts and
helping the economy.
We spent money. Asked my wife.
All right, I want to see what's in this paper. What are you hiding on?
World Cup of Hockey.
Oh,
we got puck coming up.
Puck.
I said puck.
That starts like what? Friday, Thursday?
Starts Saturday.
Starts Saturday. Okay. I know the exhibition game's been going on.
There's 8 teams.
Now, while you're digging your paper, I'm probably getting your glasses.
You're going to have to read it.
How do you feel about this, having a Canadian team, having an American team, and then having a North American team? Have we got that many players that we feel like we can spare a few extras so we can have 8 teams, or what's the deal?
I think it's going to be the only time Americans and Canadians can get along on a hockey rink.
Okay.
I think that's why they're trying it. It's all the 18 to 22-year-olds that are the best. I mean, these guys are phenomenal. If you guys get a chance to watch, if you're hockey fans, watch this team. And then watch them all, but this young North American team is Jack Eichel, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, all the young guys, Ekblad, the defenseman from Florida. They just got tons of talent. It's basically all the first-round picks in the last 3-4 years. Got the Gaudreau kid out of the Calgary Flames, just loaded with talent. And it's about half are American, half are Canadian. I think there might even be a few Europeans or something. I don't know. I don't think so, but I think the young Europeans play for their team. But this team's loaded. It's not on the same bracket as Canada and the U.S. For the first round. So what they do is they all play a round robin. They play their 3 teams in each bracket, and Canada and U.S. are on the same side. So then they cross over and play against each other in the final 8.
Now, I've been seeing the exhibition games, and you know probably more about it because I haven't studied up on it. Right now they're playing in the States and in Canada. Is that the way it's going to be during the tournament as well? It's going to be games in both Canada and America?
It's all in Toronto.
It's all in Toronto. Everything's in Toronto.
Ontario. Don't quote me on that. I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. I think it's all in Toronto. I mean, here you can look at the seedings, and I can't see.
All games played at Toronto.
Okay.
That's pretty convincing. So
and then it shows who's playing who. It starts on Saturday, and we got Swedes, we got the Russians, we got the Finns, we got North American team, which is young kids, we got the U.S., we got Canada, we got the Czech Republic, and we got a team called Europe, which is basically Switzerland and Austria and all those suburbs of
Germany
Sweden and Finland,
et cetera.
Germany, yeah.
So the round robin starts on Saturday, goes through Thursday, and then the semifinals are next Saturday, and the championship game is on, semis on Saturday and Sunday, and then the best of three finals the following week, so Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I suppose they got to get some of the guys back so they can play the NHL schedule.
I don't know. That's probably can be a good thing for these NHL teams who are starting camp here the next couple of weeks, and the Minnesota Wild have 6 players, roughly 30% of their team playing in this tournament. They got 3 Finns playing, they got 2 Americans, and 1 Swiss. This is on the Europe team, and that'd be Nino.
Okay.
Niederreiter. Vanek's playing with him. He's no longer with the Wild, thank goodness. I don't want to watch him lollygag around the ice this year. And Europe looks like the weakest team of the 8, them in the Czech Republic, Canada, U.S., Sweden, Russia, Finland are all pretty loaded.
Are you going to make a prediction?
Canada.
I mean,
when Corey Perry is not on their initial team because they said he wasn't good enough, and PK Subban can't make the team, you have to be pretty good. I mean, we'd take both of them; they'd be frontline players. I think there's some politics running over there in Canada. Surprise, surprise. And with PK Subban, even with an injury to Duncan Keith, the Fort Francis, Ontario native, he got hurt, and instead of taking PK Subban to replace him, they took the kid from Bouwmeester from the St. Louis Blues instead. So to me, there was definitely something anti-PK Subban there. Not sure what the deal is. With Corey Perry, he's taken the place of can't remember who it is, but Corey Perry made it because of an injury to another one. But Canadians are loaded, absolutely loaded.
Is this going to be? And we've known for a while this is coming up. This bigger than the Olympics?
Oh, yeah,
way bigger.
This is huge.
Just because of
maybe not because of
because of the conglomeration of the Europe team, or this is just because it's just hockey and everybody's in one setting and it's
Olympics, you have the 5 or 6, 7, 8 teams that are pretty bad. I mean, they're going to get beat 10, 11, 12-1 and stuff like that. And with this thing is you got the interest of that young North American team with all those 18 to 22-year-olds. You got that Europe team putting together, so there's no really weak team here. They all got tons of NHL players, KHL players. It's going to be great hockey, and I'm not even sure. I think ESPN's going to be showing most of it.
Most of it, I think.
And it should be pretty good. U.S. starts with who?
U.S. starts with Europe on Saturday.
Okay, that's probably the weakest team in the division. Them in the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic is, they're going to have Gaborik and all them, and
they'll be,
Chara and.
So it should be interesting. It should be fun to watch. I agree. Get a little start to the hockey season. I mean, locally,
about less than a month. Look at college hockey starts.
College hockey starts in less than. I was at the radio station today. The Wild, I think their first game is like the 13th of October.
Later than though,
which is just a hair later. But obviously, it's something that I think we're getting close to. The Lakers. I looked at their schedule. Their first game, the Fort Francis Lakers, is on September 23rd. So it's here, and actually out here in Rainier, I think the lake effect is it was far cooler here in Rainier than it was in International Falls. So the winter's in the air. It's coming.
Yeah, the Lakers they might as well just play year round. I mean, they just keep playing and play. They go to like May or June, and then playoffs start.
And then they I don't know if the SIJHL new team in the league, Thief River Falls has a team. That will be playing out there in the Little Ralph, so they'll have 6 teams in the league rather than just 5. So that'll spread out how many times you have to play everybody. But that'll be somebody that's not too far away, 3 hours or so away,
and not too far away. But I mean, the logistics of getting the Thief River from Fort Francis, Ontario, and then you got the White Lakes team or the Iron Rangers in White Lakes. I believe they're still a part of it.
Correct.
And you go all the way to Thunder Bay. I wonder what the travel time is from Thunder Bay to Thief River.
7, 8 hours? 7 hours probably by the time you cross the border. I think it's 4 plus to Thunder Bay from here, and and probably 3+ to Thief Rivers. So
these teams are basically self-supportive. They find sponsors to run the teams. Coaches get paid very little. Players, of course, get their meals and motels covered, but other than that, no spending money. So I know that players from the Falls, when they played for the Lakers, I'm not putting the league down, or I mean, it's hockey. They're playing hockey. But it's pretty expensive for these kids to play. It's just they just don't give them their equipment and everything for free. They have to pony up a little bit of money, too. And, it furthers some careers, and they enjoy the game. And since we don't have any community colleges anymore around here, it's a way to continue on and maybe get lucky. Where else are we going?
I don't know. Where else should we go?
High school. What happened to the Broncos? I mean, it'd be nice. So, it's maybe a young team, but we're getting handled pretty good right now.
I'll say it this way. I had a chance to talk to the head coach from Hibbing, Dave Frizzell, a great guy, and he, Hibbing a few years ago was kind of where the Broncos are now, struggling to get kids out, struggling to get wins on the field. And I plain blank asked him in the pregame interview, Coach, I said, what's the difference? And he said, weight room. He said, we've asked the kids to come in and do the work, and they bought in. And he said, we've been very fortunate. We had a group last year, a group of seniors that were a bunch of leaders, and got the kids in. And he said, the rest of the team is now bought in. And he said, the fortunate part is, and of course we know all about this, if you get these kids to try something new, and if they don't win at it, then they go, well, these guys don't know what they're talking about.
Sure.
He said, we've been fortunate enough to get some wins. They can see the product on the field. The wins are showing up. And he said, this team continues to buy in. And I think that is the key for every team. The weight room. And right now, that was the difference in the game. I got a chance to go back and watch the game film a couple of times. The first quarter and a half, we were making a push on their line. Of course, you know how things go, and sometimes you get beat, sometimes you don't. By the second half, they had wore us down. They were cycling in defensive linemen, and by the time the second half rolled around, there was domination from Hibbing on the offense and defensive lines, and that was really the difference in the ball game. And I'm not blaming it on those kids, but it was just a fact that up front, you could just see as the game wore on, Hibbing, and they got a couple of 300-pounders. Big kids, our kids stood up, and at halftime, if you had a chance to listen to the game on the radio, you would have heard them say, Coach Caffarel said, we're playing right with these guys, and we're down 27-0. And Coach Frizzell came on because we were doing the game on the Hibbing radio station as well, and he came on and he said, it's got to be the worst performance ever for a team that's ahead 27-0. He was completely upset with his team. I think they had 7 offensive penalties in the first half. They had been recipients of a 101-yard interception return for touchdown, a fumble return down to the 4-yard line, and a big passing play for 85 yards. Essentially, that was kind of the first half, and so you take couple of those plays out, and it's a totally different ball game. So the Falls, they got some tough games coming up. Two Harbors beat Esco 30-0 this past week. So Two Harbors is very good. Evelyn Gilbert and Wayne Roberts and his crew, we go down there in a couple of weeks, and then Greenway beat Grand Rapids on Friday, which was absolutely stunning to me. So the Broncos, those are the next 3 games. They've got some work to do, and their hands are full, but I expect them to go out every Friday and give us the effort.
And Friday, me and my buddies were up at the cabin. We were listening to the game by the fire. We had the radio out, and they thought it was great. They found it real interesting. A small town would have like a sideline reporter and another guy up in the rafters with you, and they got a kick out of that. And they asked some questions. They all think the Falls is a pretty good sports town. I said, well, we're struggling a little bit right now, and
got to find our way.
Got to find our way, and it's kind of funny how you brought that thing up earlier, but. We had our first show here a couple weeks ago at the Bass thing, and people came up to me and they said, well, what's the difference between your show this year than last year, Bully? I said, weight room.
That's good.
I've been using it.
I do want to give a shout-out to the volleyball team, the Bronco volleyball team, 7-1. Through 8 matches on the season. Congratulations to them. The LBF volleyball team is 3-2 through 5 matches on the season. Another team that's showing really well is the Bronco. They've only had one meet. prior to this taping, but the boys cross country team went out to Roseville last week and only lost to Roseville by one place, 45-46. Very, very encouraging with this young boys team. I know Coach Paul Jelly's been trying to convince me you need to wait another year or maybe two. I don't want to wait. I want to see him do it this year. A lot of 9th graders and 10th graders and juniors on this boys cross country team. Keep an eye out for them. They are going to do something here in the next couple of years. Boy, really, I believe this. The sky's the limit with these kids. They are dedicated to it, and they're going to be fun to watch. And so get out there, support the kids. I know the girls swimming team has a home meet on Tuesday, and so first home football game this Friday against Two Harbors. So everything's kind of coming up.
Speaking of which, I saw Jill at the Bass Tournament. Got her, and I said, "Hey, Jill." We talked a little bit, and I said, "I just want to ask you, 6 captains. That's we're a little different." And I asked her why, and she gave me a great answer. She said, "Because we have 6 good leaders, we thought we couldn't really pick or choose from any of them. And much like myself, I'm not a fan of I mean, I'll let the kids vote, but this doesn't necessarily mean as a coach I agreed with the vote, and I would always go with my first instinct. But anyway, she gave me a good explanation, and I appreciated her honesty.
Six very, very good girls. Well-deserved leadership, the whole thing. You want to go to questions?
Q&A. Come on. What do you guys got?
Oh, my Lord. Yeah. I knew it would come back to him,
like
everybody.
The Bradford trade was pretty good for both teams, or at least them.
I know. All I can say is this. One of my students came to class today with a Carson Wentz jersey on. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I said, you're jumping on the bandwagon. And he said to me, Mr. Ringhofer, I've been an Eagles fan through thick and thin. And I said, more thin than thick. So he said, don't give me any baloney about the Carson Wentz jersey. So he's supporting. Yeah, he had a nice day yesterday, Carson Wentz. I agree. I'm not surprised that he had a good day, but I think he had a better day than I think maybe a lot of the pundits thought. And I still am shocked he was the number 2 overall.
Here's the deal. If you watched our show, the NFL draft show, I came right out and said that Wentz was the better quarterback between Goff and Wentz, and I'll stick to that. I said Goff was a pretty boy. He's out in California. Wasn't used to the pressure, and look where he's at. He's barely on the team. He basically got a clipboard over in L.A., and you'll watch tonight what they're going to throw out there. Case Keenum, he's not a great quarterback. So with Goff being third string there, kind of I think Fisher was a little surprised that he wasn't that ready. Wentz is a better quarterback, and he proved it yesterday. So good question.
And I have to say I was surprised when he fractured a rib a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I figured for sure that was going to mean that he was not going to be ready for game 1, but not only was he healed up, and of course a fractured rib, there is not a whole bunch you can do about it except deal with the pain. If you've ever gone through something like that, it's just, there ain't a whole bunch you can do about it. So you suck it up, and one thing that we do know about Carson Wentz, he's a tough son of a gun.
That's what I liked about him. You know, go out and play hurt. That's what we like.
Anything else?
Come on.
Is the fall go over and have a cross-country ski team again?
Cross-country ski team. Well, Ron Minka, he was a big advocate of that, got that going in the community, and did an outstanding job. Kudos to him. I would like that. We do have... Do we have wrestling now?
We do have wrestling.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that is in or not, but there just isn't a lot of kids to keep adding sports. I mean, I would like to see it. I think it's one of those sports, along with I'd like to see water skiing as a sport. I don't think enough kids do that, and I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the answer is no, but like I said, it's during the season when there's so many other sports going on. With basketball, and especially in the winter, boys basketball, boys hockey, wrestling, and swimming all going on. That's 4 sports in the winter.
However, Paul, if you got a group of 20 kids and approached the school board and said, I've got a team that's going to go, they would have to really consider it. I think that's what happened with the wrestling program. They basically had the numbers and say, let's go. You have to give us the support.
Yeah, I think there would have to be the support, and you'd have to have, like I said, a young group of kids that you knew was going to come through and be there, not just for a year or 2 years. It would have to be something longer than that.
What else? What do you two got today? You happy with your Gophers team over the weekend?
Pretty good, but they didn't play much.
No. How's the remodel going? You guys gave me a little tour of the place. You guys were working hard. You had paint all over yourselves, and I don't know if it was paint by numbers or just spotted paint.
Talk about the Vikings white kicker.
We did not. I'll let Ringer handle that.
Well, we talked a little bit about that. I thought for sure at halftime he wasn't going to maybe not make the end of the game, and then by the end of the game, he of course. I did find it hilarious. One tweet that came out was that that Blair Walsh's phone was already full of text messages asking him to come and talk to the elementary schools on Tuesday after what happened last year when he missed and all the schools came in and tried to make him feel better and blah blah blah. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Somebody was being very clever. Kicking is a tough gig. You're out there all by yourself, and the scary part about it is, and I think the couple of the kicks that I saw over the weekend, it's not always the kicker's fault. Sometimes the snap is bad. Last night, I think on the Arizona field goal at the end, the ball came in flat, hit the ground. The holder did get it snapped up, but a lot of times if that ball's just off by 2 inches even, and the kicker can't make the adjustment on the fly, that ball's going to, like the one that Blair kicked from like 55 that ended up almost in the stands over here. I think that's where kicking just isn't always the kicker. They do get the blame, but sometimes the holder and the snapper have to be slightly responsible.
However, how come Gostkowski of the New England Patriots and Vinatieri never miss? They just Gostkowski, that's right.
Great holder and great snapper.
Now there's a difference. Blair Walsh is a good kicker, but he's not a great kicker. He's going to miss his share. But we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that every game. I mean, let's put some points on the board.
Yeah.
What else you guys got?
We got Sean Hill.
Okay, we did mention that. I thought it was very good.
And we might have talked about that prior to the show. I think Sean Hill, I thought the biggest thing, he didn't make mistakes, and that's the one thing that I think he always asked the quarterback to do, is to not turn the ball over, and he did that. Did he throw a touchdown pass? No, but he kept the offense going in the right direction, and I'm going to find it very interesting if he is not the starting quarterback against the Packers on Sunday night. I'm going to be very interested to find out what did he do, and I think it's still in my mind, and this is purely opinion. I think at practice it's open right now. They're looking at it to see, because I think those two quarterbacks, the more Bradford learns with the offense, and the more opportunity he gets, the more confident he's going to get. We could see some changes, but right now I think if the team is winning, I don't know if Zimmer makes a change as well, even if it means maybe Bradford looks better in practice. When you got the team going in the right direction, you don't usually have a tendency to mix things up. It might be his to lose. That's right.
I'm going to take a different angle on it. I think they had the discussion prior to the game yesterday, and I think they said, Sean, you're running the show this week, and then Bradford's taking over. We need Bradford against the Packers, because we saw what happened to Adrian Peterson yesterday. Even though Hill did as good as he can, he doesn't give him a threat that he's going to throw the deep ball on him, and I think they got to throw Bradford in there, and I'm sure the three of them had that discussion last week. So I expect Bradford to be playing. Prediction on the Green Bay Vikings game, since our next show won't be till after that.
I will go 24-20 Vikings at home in their new stadium. I'm going to give them the edge. That'll give them some points at home.
So the spread's 1. Did you get that?
I did not know the spread was 1.
The Vikings are favored by 1 point,
really?
Which basically tells me Green Bay's favored by 2 because the home team gets 3 right out of the chute. So the Vikings lay in 1. I think the Vikings will win this. They're not going to lose in that new stadium. There's no way. Plus, it's the Packers. There's a reason they're playing them their first game in the old, what's it called, TCF?
The U.S. Bank Stadium.
I know, just put bank on there. You can put the word in front of it. Anyways, I got the Vikings winning. That's going to be a field goal by Blair Walsh.
He's not a great kicker. He's just good enough to get her to win.
Adrian will break through. It's about a 140-yard game. Remember, Adrian's had good games against Green Bay Packers, and Jordy Nelson isn't quite 100%, so the deep threat isn't there for Aaron Rodgers. They'll box him down, and I got the Vikings winning that also.
Anything else?
How many points will the Vikings defense for us?
Ooh, I like that question. The Viking defense got a couple of touchdowns yesterday, and I say this week they get no touchdowns. That's tough. A tough pattern to keep up. Would love to see it. I'll say none, Woody. I'll say none.
Well,
You got to be different.
I think they're going to get safe.
Ooh.
I think the crowd noise is just going to be nuts. They'll get pitting Aaron Rodgers down there at the 1 yard line. He's going to go back to pass, fall down, and they'll jump on him for a safety. So they win by 5. Let's take back on our prediction. Okay, they take away 3-point win. They'll win by 5. But anyways, Woody had a purple Viking shirt on the other day.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. We showed up here, and there's Woody sitting on the deck and doing what Woody does best, BSing with people, having a dart and talking whatever the people were talking about. But he had a nice, beautiful Viking shirt on, and his lovely wife Leanne had a Favre jersey on, and I asked him what's all the purple about. And I guess Leanne's father, he turned 90 on Saturday, and his name's Pierre. The reason I know it's Pierre because I was heading out the lake, and there was a big purple thing that said Pierre's Party left.
Boom.
Yeah, nice. That's where Woody went.
That's where Woody went.
Anyways, Woody's a big Vikings fan now. Anything else, or are we good to go? We've probably gone through our allotted time. Sorry about that, KCC TV. We'll have more of our organized show in the coming weeks. We have lots going on, and thanks for watching this stuff. It's good stuff. It's fun stuff. Don't take it too serious.